Gremlin go on, guys?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah.
The Gremlin go on. Are we all good? Are we live?
Yeah.
Are we
Yeah.
live? Of course we're live. Welcome back, people. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to DVD TV. You know what? The Gremlins are in full flow tonight, but they are not going to stop us, just like they're not going to stop Masterpiece Chelsea FC. But anyway, people, welcome back to the channel. This is DVD TV. I am joined by a stellar cast tonight, and I figured there's only one place to start, but allow me to first and foremost, let me get the formalities out of the way because people, I can promise you, this is going to be a bumper show. So allow me to first introduce my guests to my, what's this, my right, my left, my brother from another mother, the chairman of the Arsenal Football Cape Town Supporters Club, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Warren, my brother. What are you telling me? How are you, my brother?
I am I am feeling good. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Love it, love it, love for jumping on, man. I think this is you making your debut on. No, it's not actually a debut. It's your second appearance. If your first appearance is anything to go by, you're not gonna do some Kai Havertz Banbuli. So no, it's your second time. Remember, the first before the season we did our prediction show.
Yeah, I remember.
So yeah, but love for jumping on, my brother. And of course, I had to bring at a time when it's the Magpies that, of course, there's only going to be one Magpie, the man, the myth, the one, the only. Sean, how are you, my brother? Welcome back to the channel. How are you?
David, thanks so much, and good evening to all your viewers out there. It's an absolute pleasure to be back. And I just want to say, Warren, I know we're probably not on the best of speaking terms right now, but brother, it happens in football. You know, you take it and you move on. But thanks, Dave. Thanks again for the opportunity.
Is that why I think it is because they robbed us, Warren, or what's going on here? Is that because they robbed us last week, 2 weeks ago? What's going on here?
It's a strong word, my brother. It's a matter of interpretation, huh? Whether the ball was out or not, we don't know. Only the camera knows.
Don't worry about that. We got bigger fish to
We're gonna
fry.
touch on that. Don't worry, I'll have about 3 reasons. Anyway, say no more. And of course, the one and only, the man who is back all of a sudden. You know what, Pascal? There's a guy that's actually coming for you later. As soon as the load shedding goes on, he said he's actually coming for you. He says you only appear after Chelsea started winning. When Chelsea were losing, you weren't. But you are here out in full flow. So welcome back, Master P, my brother. What are you telling me?
I'm good, bro. It's good to be back. And you can blame load shedding for the absence, the times that I haven't been on the show. So, but yeah, here I am, man. No load shedding today. I'm on the show. Good to be back.
Yeah, look, love for the love. I really appreciate all you guys coming on, and I'm sure we're gonna have an outstanding conversation. Look, I'm apologizing in advance if I do lag. You don't need to worry about my face as long as you can hear me. That's the most important thing. So yeah, like people, I see there's 2 of you already in the chat. Like, share, subscribe. Please go and follow Arsenal Cape Town on Facebook. The link to their page is in the description. So do that right now. It costs you nothing. And if you don't want to do it, then please go wash your feet because it stinks. There's no other reason. I'm not charging you anything. Go and like Arsenal Cape Town and like and subscribe if you're new in here. And we're gonna have an awesome chat, guys. There's only one place to start. The game of the game for me. That's the game of the season. And I think there's only one person to give us the segue into it. Chelsea 4, Man City 4. Master P,
Yeah.
give me your thoughts, my brother. I'll start with you first and foremost because it is your team. Give me your thoughts on the game overall.
First of all, a whole lot of people prepared some memes for Chelsea. They thought we were going to get clapped at the bridge. And clearly they were all wrong and they all went quiet after the game. So that's a good thing. But I'm impressed with the performance. To go down twice in the game and to show character. And we could have gone on and won it. I think any team could have gone on and both teams could have probably won the game. But like just to be in that position with everything that's been happening at Chelsea the last 2 seasons or so, I mean, it's there's some sort of a positive sign. I know. Every time I say that, they go on and drop points at a small team somewhere in the league. But at the end of the day, I thought I saw some positives. I saw a lot of fight in them. I think that's the biggest thing that I took off from the game. There was a lot of character. They showed a backbone. They didn't bend over backwards just to let those guys run all over us. I thought we defended well when we needed to. We attacked them pretty much well as well. I was impressed with the no fear factor. I think when we had the ball, we went for them, and that's the only way to play against this type of team. You know what I mean? And clearly those that vibe at the bridge. Maybe because it was a home game, we benefited from the crowd as well. But I think look, the momentum was there, and for me that was a positive.
Out for you, Master. And I'm talking now not only that game, I'm talking about from the crazy game against Spurs to now, because
Yeah.
I don't know about Warren, but in this entire that eight Chelsea goals in 1 week. That's mad to me. So who stood out for you?
Man. Whew. I mean, I would have to say, because of the hat trick, I'd have to go with Nicholas Jackson, just as somebody who, I thought he showed, there was a lot of criticism on him. And I think he answered. I know people are going to say it was against 9 men and all of that stuff, but at the end of the day, look, you got to put the ball in the back of the net. That's what I worry about. So I have to give it to him just because of the stick that he's been getting the last couple of months. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'd have to go with him as the standout Chelsea performer, so to speak.
Fair enough. Warren, I want to come on to you. The last time when we played them, I personally think it was our shittest performance. I think that we didn't actually give credit to Chelsea because we didn't realize how quick they are on the break. Conor Gallagher breaking lines in midfield. Mudryk doing his thing. Sterling destroying us. But I mean, this is testament to Pochettino. And of course, look, they have been unlucky in certain times, and they will get it right. But what did you make of the game, Warren, at this moment in time, and what do you make of Chelsea?
Yeah, well, I mean, they bought 15 billion players and they sold 13 billion players. So obviously, it's going to take time for them to build. You can't build a team in 3-4 weeks. I mean, they've sold an entire squad and they've bought an entire squad. And there's a lot of instability it was at the club. I mean, if you look at the previous transfer windows as well, I mean, each transfer window, they're getting rid of 8 players and bringing 7 players in. And he doesn't run a football club like that. But for them, they're probably hoping that Pochettino sticks and that it works and that the game plan works and that they sort of, get their starting 11 going. Because I think if you ask 10 Chelsea fans, name me your strongest 11, you're going to get 10 different teams. The bigger fuck up is not the manager. The bigger fuck up for Chelsea is not the manager or the players. It's the stupid clown owner they got. Because this is going to be the same idiot that will probably, Chelsea will lose a unlucky game in February, get knocked out in the FA Cup. They'll lose to Blackburn Rovers or some cuck. And the idiot clown of owner that they got, you will fucking fire the guy. You will fire fucking Pochettino. And then guess what? A new manager comes in, you will sell the whole fucking team, and the owner will give him another 400 million to spend on buying a whole new team. It'll just be back to 3-1. What's the fucking point? That is the problem with Chelsea's owner. It's the fucking, you got Ronald McDonald owning the fucking club. I mean, at the moment, they just got a whole load of good individual talent. But I mean, if you're spending $1 billion, what do you expect? Of course, you're gonna have individual talent. I mean, you're not gonna be buying freaking, ice creams and burgers with that money. You're gonna have to have some quality players, surely, if you spend that amount of money. So it's not a surprise that they got quality players, quality individual players. The biggest question is Pochettino gonna survive the winter?
Pascal, I think that's a good question to ask you.
I think to answer Warren's question, I think he will, because I think his mandate is very. I think at the end of the day, what's up, Khalid? At the end of the day, the mandate is very simple. It just brings stability. Obviously, with the chaos, like Warren has said, if you look at the 2 or 3 transfer windows that we've had, with the amount of players that come in and those that we've gotten rid of, and we're still trying to get rid of some, by the way. I think at the end of the day, the new coach that comes in that type of a scenario, with all of that change, all the new players. I mean, there's like there's still 9 players that are out, by the way. You know what I mean? But he still has to integrate into the whole team. So when you have that situation and that scenario at the club, I don't think Pochettino is expected to do anything miraculous right now. I think anything other than the Champions League qualification will be a bonus. And so I don't think he has to win anything. And I think that pressure just gets removed because of that. For as long as I think he makes it in the top 4 also, I don't think anything would happen to him or in terms of getting fired or anything like that. For me personally, I think the stability there is beginning to show. I was wrong about Conor Gallagher. You know that Dave from the group, I was very critical of him. But you can actually see that Pochettino has kind of given him that trust, to run the midfield and all that, and the promise is beginning to show for it. So for me, I think to answer Warren's question, I don't think Pochettino is going to get fired this whole season. Unless maybe he doesn't make top 4 or something like that, something crazy like that happens, then maybe he gets fired. But I just think he's there for stability. And I think he's going to be judged next season in terms of like the accomplishments and achievements. I think he's going to be charged for that next season.
Say no more. Guys, I'm going to give you guys the segue. Sean, I want to come on to you and then I want you guys to discuss the game. I'm going to jump out and jump back in because these gremlins are now really working on my tits, honestly, like Kai Havertz. Sean, what did you make of the City penalty? And let's chat about the game because for me, number one, Sterling stood out. But talk to me about the penalty and what did you make of it? Because I know there was an issue in our game. Personally, honestly, I wasn't looking. Look, I get it. The refs are shit. Either way, we know that the refs are shit. Let's not even hide behind that. It doesn't even matter what ref you're going to get. I looked at our goal that we conceded against you guys in the sense that there was 6 errors made there. Number one, you didn't clear the ball. Number two, you didn't play to the whistle because you thought Joe Willock, I think it was Sean, that kept that ball in, if I'm not mistaken. You didn't play to the whistle.
Correct. Yeah.
Ben White and I don't know who was there, didn't rush out. Number three, they lobbed the ball in. The Spanish goofy didn't clear that ball or catch it. That's why he's there. But apparently he's now number one. So we will touch on that. And I know there's a whole lot of pushing with the VAR and that type of thing. But I'm going to leave you on the segue with the City penalty and give me your thoughts on the game. And then I'm going to jump out and I'm going to come in because these gremlins. But carry on with the show, guys. I'm going to come out and I'm going to jump out and back in.
Okay, Dave. Yeah, I think just to be clear, and I think you hit it actually on the head there. A lot of people will go into VAR contentions in terms of whether the ruling was in favor or against. But like you rightfully say, there are times where the defensive team also has enough time to make those clearances and not result or not allow the game to get in those situations. So is it a part of bad officiating or is it a case of bad defending? It's always obviously up for interpretation there. Sometimes the calls goes your way. Obviously, it doesn't go. But again, it's a human error. Let's not forget that VAR is not. It's computerized, yes, but still at the end of the day, there is a human sitting behind making that call. And I think that is probably it's been brought in to obviously try and improve the game. Number one, it still needs a lot of work, but I do believe that it's probably a lot better than what it was before. I think we have to give credit to that. There are some calls that you can actually see if it was probably given by the linesman or by the naked eye, it wouldn't have been either declared onside or offside. So it's unfortunate when it goes against you. Everybody jumps up, puts up their arms. VAR is shit and VAR is that and that. But when it goes for you, you kind of get the victory also again on the other side. So it's really taking every moment and every occasion on its merit. You have chances throughout the game. I think just to be clear and simple about it, take those chances that are created, and then you wouldn't have to come up. But with Murphy's law, you're always going to end up in those situations where you need to have the assistance, obviously, of either VAR or something contentious on that. Is he coming back?
Back, I'm
Yeah, he's
coming
gonna
back.
come
Can you
back
guys hear
now.
me?
Warren, what's your take on the penalty? The City penalty.
Sorry, guys. With
Yeah.
respect, I didn't watch it. I didn't comment on it because I'm not interested in any other team. It's only the Magpies for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll say the Man City penalty.
Yeah, the Man City penalty, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. With all these VAR decisions and it's more the inconsistency because I think that's where I mean, I can say no, it's not a penalty now, and then next week I say it's a penalty, and then it's like, and then
Yeah.
it's not even. You just don't know where to, pardon the pun, you don't know where to draw the line anymore. And I think it's a
Yeah.
combination of three things here. Okay. Initially there was crap refereeing. That's one, and then two, the VAR technology,
Fact.
the protocol and the process around it is totally flawed, and they've got to improve it. I think once we heard the audio from the Liverpool Spurs game, I think I just rubber stamped every doubt we had in our mind that we got a bunch of headless chickens running around in the room there. So I think the process around the whole VAR it's a fuck up. That's added. So that's problem number two. Problem number three is the actual rules itself. The actual freaking rules itself, which is at times void of any kind of common sense. So you will see a guy look bad because they show it in slow motion, but anyone that kicked the ball will know that okay, it's a foul. It's a foul. Maybe if it's bad enough, give a yellow card. But I don't send the fucking oak off. Not everything on the planet is a red card. And I think, we saw the whole stuff up with the handball rule. They changed the handball rules like 500 times in the last 3 years. Just like you don't know what handball is. So I think transparency is required. I think we need a panel of people that consists of different stakeholders, ex-players, ex-coaches, the rule people, the technology people, all come together in the off season. Don't fucking go on holiday. Come together, sit in a room. You iron the problems out. In the meanwhile, you go to the Rugby World Cup. You go to the Cricket World Cup. You go to Wimbledon. You see what they're getting right, and then let's take that and go into our game. How can the biggest sport on the planet get the cuck wrong so much? What are other people doing that we're not doing, man? Fuck that. It's not rocket science.
There's
You
too
know,
much money
so
involved, brother. There's too much
you know,
money.
that's the ironic thing. That is the ironic thing. More money, more stupid people. It should be the other way around. It should be we should have the best of fucking class here. We're the biggest sport on the planet. Or if you combine all the sports together, they're not even half compared to football. And we're getting
Yeah.
it wrong. We all just watch the Rugby World Cup now. It took them 3 fucking seconds to make a big call in the World Cup final. Hello, big fucking decisions being made in 3 seconds. We've got a panel of people making decisions for a quarter of an hour, and they're still getting it wrong. I mean, come on, man. If that's working for mutual or fucking FNB, they would have been fired. Sean is right. Sean is right. He nailed it. I mean, I'm a gooner, and we were on the wrong end of a maybe 50-50 there, but I wasn't even complaining about that. I was like you saying, Davey, why didn't our right back go out? Why did the goalkeeper fall asleep? Why wasn't Gabriel stronger? Why didn't we just deal with the problem? Because All of those things, people are showing angles and stuff. Don't talk cock about angles. You can't even see nothing. Fuck off with the
Guys,
angles and anything.
you had one shot.
Why
You had
can't we
one
just
shot on target in that
you
entire
know?
match.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about the actual game, if you're talking about the actual game, for me that game is a draw because no one did fuck all to win the game. Raya did nothing else besides that. He had fuck all shots to take. The game was a 0-0 draw, written all over it. But we can't, I'm not here to compare the VAR because you know what? Next time we'll just get the VAR decision in our way, and no one will say fuck all about it. They'll all keep their fucking mouths quiet. But I'm not that. You know me,
Exactly.
TV. I call a spade a spade. I'm a gooner, and I'm
Yeah.
talking on my own goddamn team
I
here.
couldn't.
I'm not gonna
I couldn't
pretend
have said it
we
any
don't
better.
get any decision wrong. I mean, that's bullshit. That's fucking crap. Everyone gets their fair share of good and bad things. I mean, you just gotta play better. Just do your fucking job on the pitch.
Facts. I couldn't have said it any better. I could not have said it any better. Warren, you can ask Pascal. I've been preaching about this for a couple of seasons, and that's why I wanted you on the show for somebody else to come and say what I have been saying for a while. So that because apparently I'm looking at things through a different lens. But thank you, Warren. That rant was perfect. I don't need to say anything more on it. Master P, just before we wrap up, I want to play a bit of devil's advocate here. Are you concerned about the amount of goals that you are conceding, and what next? Because as fate would have it, you play Newcastle next, and you play them in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
First
Oh,
and foremost, touch on the amount of goals. Are you worried about it? And then you do play Newcastle in the league when it
so
comes.
where's
Look at Sean saying, "Come, bring it,"
where's
and you play them in the Carabao
the
Cup.
bridge
So
or
take the floor, Master
that-
P. The floor is yours.
where's that
Well,
game?
first of
Sure,
all,
okay. Is that Stamford Bridge or St James?
no, St. James, St. James, on the 25th of November.
St. James.
Oh,
St.
oh,
James.
Yeah,
oh.
Bring your
yeah.
Bible. Bring
No,
your Bible, my brother.
it, it would it would definitely be one of those classics. It would be a difficult game. I mean, look, obviously, it's always going to be tough going there. You know how the place is now. They've made it some sort of a fortress now. You know what I mean? So and they've got the personnel to actually deal with any team there. So it's going to be a difficult game. But just to answer your question, Davey, regarding the goals, I mean, it's always concerning because you know the number one key to winning championships or games is to have a strong defense, a backbone of a defense, and you can still see that the back three, the back four, even the back five are still finding their ways. I mean, even Moses Casado hasn't really looked that solid. You know what I mean in midfield. So it's a bit of a concern. But at the end of the day, I think that is something that we still need to improve on because obviously, if you're conceding a handful of goals, you're not going to win games. That's a fact. So that is the number one concern. The one thing that I am happy about though is that we're beginning to score goals too. Because if you remember correctly, last season the biggest problem that we had was scoring goals. I mean, we were scoring penalties pretty much half of the time. That was where the goals were coming from. So that is a positive. But I think if we can tighten up the defense and if we can get our defensive midfielders working too, you know what I mean, to sniff out the danger before it actually happens then will be a very tough outfit to play against. But for now, yeah, the concern. I mean, going to St James's Park. I mean, you can already see that we're going to concede a handful of goals. Just the pressure that they're going to put on us. I don't think we'll be able to deal with them the whole 90 minutes without conceding. But one thing that I've also seen is that we're very problematic on the counter for any team to deal with. So that's at least the positive that I'm going to take into the game.
No, fair enough. I couldn't have summed it up any better. And speaking of Newcastle, let's come on to my Magpie. Sean, um, I get it. We all suffer. I think one thing the four of us have in common here is that we all suffering with injuries. It's
Yeah.
just bottom right because he's my friend. I just don't want to hear about his injuries when you spend £1 billion. But that's me being shameless. That's the word. That's me. But look, let's be fair. And you guys have been suffering with injuries, and I know after you guys beat PSG, what an awesome I think one of the best nights at St James, honestly. Coupled with that
Yeah.
Barcelona that night against Barcelona.
Absolutely.
Two losses to
Mm.
Dortmund in the group of death. You beat Arsenal and then losing to Bournemouth. Do you think it's now the fact that because look, I watched your Emerson documentary. I don't know if you watched it. I'm sure you did, but and
Yeah.
one thing I like about Newcastle is the owners and the manager are pulling in the same direction. Like they could have
Yeah.
sacked Eddie Howe at any time and said, "Look here, you got us there, done with you." But we said, "You know what? We're gonna believe in your philosophy and we're gonna let you." Like, look at the way they work for Gordon, and that's his
Mm.
team now. But the question I want to ask you actually is, do you think that the squad is a bit too thin, and now you can actually see that they cannot cope with playing twice a week? If you get what I'm saying, like you're playing Tuesday and then you're playing on a Sunday or Saturday and then Wednesday two
Yeah.
games a week. You get what I'm saying? Do you like? I mean, last year, like if you only had one game per week, like Chelsea, it would have been a different
Yeah.
story. And that does take. Warren, you and I both know. Like, look at what it did for us at that moment in time. We nearly got Champions League. But Sean, how do you feel about it? What's your opinion, my man?
Dave, I think it's actually and let's first get it right there. It's a mighty Bournemouth team that we played again. I mean, these guys have won the Champions League at least 10 times in their career. So it wasn't easy. It wasn't a dopey team. It was Bournemouth after all. I mean, yeah, but no, to get to it. Like you rightfully said, I think the game and the defeat against Bournemouth actually really summarized where the club finds itself currently, in terms of, I won't say maybe progressing a little bit too soon, a little bit too premature, but it was always going to be a challenge. You talk about playing twice a week. This is actually, playing every 3 days. And I mean, we're not playing in a lower league championship division. We're playing in the Champions League, number one. We've been put in the group of death, amongst the elite,
Yeah.
obviously, of Europe in that competition. So, going back, if I must take the Bournemouth result, I think it just underlined the need to have a proper squad to compete on all fronts, not only
Yeah.
obviously in the league, in your Champions League, in your Carabao Cup, in your FA Cup, because you also want to maintain the level. You don't want to set big heights in one season and the next season you can't even make it in the top four again. So it's a hell of a lot of football. Yes, there's a lot of money in the club, but obviously because of the FFP, we're also restricted in terms of bringing in who we want to. But going back, I think the build up to the Bournemouth game. Let's talk 2 weeks back. We Manchester United at the theatre of nightmares, 3-0. We took them out at their home ground. 3 days later, we then ended Arsenal's unbeaten run. 2 days later, we were playing in Dortmund, emptied the tank against Dortmund, lost 2-0. 3 days later, you have to play against Bournemouth. You have to take it on the chin. Nine players out, nine starters, may I add it, but it's not an excuse. You look at the comments that was passed towards the team, especially towards Kieran Trippier, and I say it with respect. You have football supporters, and then you have football understanding supporters. So the comments passed towards the team. I mean, especially at the player that gave up the highs of playing every week or every second week in Champions League for Atletico Madrid to join the team in the relegation. It was a lot of emotions attached to it. But I just think it highlighted the fact that we do have the injuries, and unfortunately for the club like Newcastle, we can't afford to have that because of where we're playing, where we're competing. We're still in the quarterfinal of the Carabao Cup. We're still in the Champions League. We're 5 points out of the top five, which is another Champions League qualification. So it's not all dark and gloom, but it just comes down to the squad size. It's really we have to have that sorted out. I don't think it's panic stages as yet. I don't think we need to go and sign another 25 players in January. I think we will obviously be getting like the likes of Sven Botman coming back, Isak coming back, Harvey Barnes coming back. Those automatically again new transfers in January if they fit again and ready to play. So it's just, I think, squad depth, the result. But again, also on the day we were very poor against Bournemouth. I don't know if Eddie has maybe sentiments towards his team because now they're out of the relegation zone, his ex-team. But that's obviously a conversation for another day. But it really just highlighted the fact of the injuries that we have, and when, like I say, when it's injuries to a certain club, it's manageable. But when it's injuries of starters to a Newcastle team competing on all fronts, it's a big challenge.
Fair enough. James, am I lagging or what? Or did Sean just sound like Megatron?
He's
Am I
lagging. He's
lagging?
lagging. On my side, he's lagging. No, Sean is
I thought
lagging.
I was going the fuck now, yo, man.
So you said
Yeah,
absolutely
Sean
nothing.
is the one that's lagging.
Sean, do me a favor, log out and log back in, please, man, if you don't mind.
I heard him perfectly. He didn't lag on my side. I don't know.
I, I
He
heard a
was
bit.
breaking up on mine.
I heard the gist of it. I heard the gist of it.
Yeah,
Boy,
me
Let
too.
me try
Just a
quick
little
once.
bit.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I heard him perfectly. Yeah.
So, look, did you hear him perfectly?
Yeah.
I only heard like 10% of it because he was like breaking up.
I only had the end sentence of it, but look, I get where he's coming from. But Warren,
Oh, let me just
do
before
you
you
think
continue,
that this
Davey.
is because of expectation has raised? Mm, yeah, but
Sorry.
Yeah, before you continue, Davey, I just wanted to because I got what he want, well, like what Sean was saying, a little bit of it, but like I just want because he's jumped off now. I wanted to tell him that at the end of the day, I think because remember with them, they're in a different league now in terms of now they're in the Champions League. You know what I mean? And so and of course they've got the new owners. You know what I mean? Like obviously to back them up and all that, but like not everybody can bring in like 11 players. Like in a transfer window to like strengthen the team. You know what I mean? For them, they'll probably have to do it over the next couple of 2 windows or something like that. You know what I mean? It's not like it's a Chelsea. You know, Chelsea's situation is a bit strange in that you can buy like 7 guys in one transfer window and then get them all in and all that type of thing. You know, so I think if he can just be patient with Newcastle, I think they'll be just fine, man. They just need like 2 transfer windows just to strengthen the squad and then take it from there. I don't think there's any need for them to panic or anything
okay.
like that.
I'm back, guys. Is that better?
Okay, now I got it. Now I got it. Now I got it. Now it's my side. It's on my side. It's on my side. It's on my side. It's not you, Sean. It's me.
No problem.
It's not you. It's me. But look, where to from here now, Sean? Where next? Because look, we all have injuries. We all are suffering. Kieran Trippier incident. I feel that's just because of the expectation that you guys have. Expectation has risen, in my personal opinion, because I mean, I look at where you guys were under Mike Ashley. That was
Sure.
it wasn't nice to see Newcastle like that. I think we can all agree on that. But I mean, look, it's not all doom and gloom. The fact that United is above you baffles me because I find that utterly fucking mad to me. But you're still in the Carabao Cup. You have PSG away, Milan at home. What next for you guys? What are you hoping for, my brother?
Guys, I think firstly, we need to first sort out our hospital. I think that's most important for us. We need to get our guys back. I think the small little break comes at a very good time for Newcastle. This although it's a quick international break. Obviously still in preparing for Chelsea. It's still a good time for us just to try and mend what we can. The boys coming back. They are, like I said, there's at least about 5 or 6 coming through. But what was positive again from the Bournemouth game, although that was the loss, if you look at the team sheet, we had a 17-year-old, obviously in Lewis Smiley making his debut. We had an 18-year-old in Ben Parkinson coming onto the field. We had a 19-year-old at left back, Lewis Hall. We had a 20-year-old at Intino Livramento. So the signs are there. It's just going to take time. We've got obviously 2 exciting youngsters also out on loan in the European leagues at the moment. So the building blocks are slowly coming into place. Unfortunately, we can't put a hold on the league and we can't say, look, Premier League, give us some more time. We need to firstly sort our house out. We have to play as the games come and with the squad that we have. But like you said, and I don't think it's all dark and gloom. There's a lot of positives. There's a lot of expectations because of the loving support, obviously, that we get up at St. James's Park. But the fans just need to remain calm. Like I say, you get the supporter side of things and you get those that understand the football. The emotions must always just stay intact. Let football win it at the end of the day and let the football people make those decisions. I'd like to see us bring in still another number, possibly a good 6. There's talks of obviously maybe Calvin Phillips or Ruben Neves if the league allows us to do from our owners, our fathers on the other side in Saudi. because I don't think we have really replaced Sandro Tonali as yet. I would have loved to have seen the two of them obviously play together with Tonali and Bruno. Very similar, which is probably also a problem. So Eddie must just work out the balance in terms of how he's going to play those two once we get Tonali back. But I think welcoming a likes of a Calvin Phillips and maybe even a Ruben Neves will obviously add more thrust to our current squad. We're scoring goals, which is a good thing. You go back to Sheffield United, we had 8 different scorers on the score sheet, which is a good thing, which means that you don't have to just rely on your nines to be scoring your goals. So there's a lot more positives. And like I said, we're not fighting relegation. We're 5 points out of automatic qualification for Champions League. I won't say it's panic stages now. We've got a good couple of sponsorship deals lined up, which will help us in terms of our revenue. Obviously, the Champions League revenue also brings in more money, so we can go out into the market. Maybe not January, maybe the following transfer window. Really improve the squad. But knowing Eddie and the work ethic and the specific type of player that he needs, it's not easy to find. You don't want to. He doesn't just go out and spend the cash. He buys very strategically. Obviously, with Dan Ashworth, there's a lot of insight and research in terms of getting the chemistry right. And I do believe we have a squad that can compete on all fronts. If we add a couple, maybe 2 or 3 more players come January.
Fair enough. I couldn't have said it any better, and I appreciate it really. Like I always say, I like to have, like Pascal even knows, I like to have different opinions, and especially, I mean, I can tell you've known Newcastle in and out from the first minute I spoke to you. You eat, breathe, sleep the Magpies, the black and white. So I couldn't have said it any better, my brother. So thanks for that. Warren,
Thanks,
our
bro.
club, my man, back to winning ways. After what was, I won't lie to you. Last week I was down in the dumps after Newcastle and getting knocked out to West Ham, but winning against in Europe in the week and then winning over the weekend. What was your thoughts? We won 3-1. Trossard did what, 2 goals, 1 assist. Give me your thoughts on the
Yeah.
game.
On the Burnley game.
Yeah, the weekend game, my brother.
Yeah, okay, so just before I get to that, so I forgot to actually so 2 things before I get into our game. I forgot to thank Mr. P for taking points of City, so thank you. And I think similar to what I'm gonna allude to, I think supporters must just keep themselves calm. To the children listening there, this isn't a TV game, this is real life. Okay, you can't win every game. And just to put the Karen Trippier scene into context, that's probably 3 supporters out of 10 million. So let's just put that into context as well. 3 idiots that drank themselves drunk before the game. Don't know what the hell they're talking about. Take it easy. Everything is okay,
Yeah,
Nicole. So they lost one goddamn
yeah.
game.
Agreed.
Jesus.
Agreed, Warren.
Calm yourself down. Put your dummy back in your mouth, man.
Mm.
God. Jesus. No, it's just stupid. That's just stupid. It's life doesn't work like that. It's just every team loses games. I mean, you can't just overreact. You lose one game and then, oh my God, we're gonna burn the stadium down. I mean, you're like 5 years old. I mean, come on, Jesus. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Coming back to our game. So obviously it wasn't like, I mean, it wasn't the most entertaining game, but I'm actually more pleased because if we're gonna go in and challenge for the title, those are the type of games we just got to, when you squat teams away. I mean, you're killing a fly and you just squat them away like that. You got to squat teams away like that. You know what I mean? That was more. I'll take that over an exciting 4-3 any day of the week.
Mm.
Just to sum up the season so far. So last season, our strength was up front, and the reason why we lost the title last season was because our defense wasn't good enough, William Saliba. This season, it was so far, it's the reverse of that. The defenses sorted out, and the attack somehow, for whatever reason, has seemed to take a bit of a dip. But I think the last 2 games, the home game in the Champions League and then the home game against Burnley, showed the quality that we actually do have I still think we're playing within ourselves. I think the best is still to come. I think that's with the quality players we got. I think there's more to come from us. But I think that's just a professional performance from the team. You know, I've seen many league title winning teams put in that type of performance where it's not spectacular. They just get the job done. You know, it's no frills or fusses, no
Yeah.
whoas. Just get the damn job done. And I think we also normally don't want international breaks. I think there's a few teams, I think Newcastle included, us definitely included. I think we needed that international break
Oh,
to
I
buy
want
us
this one.
2 or 3
I want
weeks
this one. I'm not gonna lie to
to
you. I want
to
this
get
one.
the injured players back, right? So we needed something to buy us some time because the injuries were starting to add up. Key players as well, and so that's why I was desperate for us to get the 3 points because when we come back, people, it is game on like Donkey Kong. We're gonna be playing 2 games a week from now till February because it's midweek league games, it's Christmas, it's Boxing Day, it's New Year's, there's FA Cup, and it's makeup games, and it's just, so it's gonna be crazy. So it's important to bag the points while you can. So yeah, I think we've sort of done it the other way around. Whereas last year we were just winning games at the beginning, whereas now it's a bit of a slow build. But I'd rather take that because I think there's signs that we are maturing as a football team. We look like a proper football team. It doesn't look like it's all off the cuff. We're making shit up as we go along, like certain other teams in the league. We look like a proper team. People know what they're doing. Yes, we've had hiccups as well. That's gonna happen. The year we won the bloody Invincibles, there was 1 or 2 crap games as well. But you see, no one will think about that. I've seen, Man City when they've
Bro,
won, the
I agree
100
with that.
points and when they got fucked up at Anfield, you know what I mean? But you're gonna have games like that. You can't win every game 10-0. It's not a TV game. You gotta build the momentum. So I mean, not much to write home from the Burnley game, but you can see the players are all sort of pulling in the same direction and working for the manager, and they believe in themselves. And I think the fans appreciate that. So even during when things go a little bit against you, they all stand by the team because I think they're starting to see the bigger picture of things now. We were in the same boat. We were like, oh God, things.
Mm.
We got so close to fourth and then we didn't make it. But I'm like, just hold on. We look at where we come from. We came from, stupid, in those, we had Una Emily there and we had Mbama Yangs and Socrates and Mustafi and all this crap. Just think about. You see, the problem is people's memory in football. They're like a fucking goldfish. They can only remember stuff for the last 5 seconds. Just calm the fuck down and just take it one game at a time. All right, they're not going to hand the league title out in December. You think Pep Guardiola's panicking now because God, we're not. The press is saying this. You think he's not sleeping tonight? He's okay. He knows what he's doing. As long as he knows what he's doing, he's fine. And the same with Ateta.
Mm.
And the same with Newcastle as well. And I'm sure
Agree.
Pochettino will be thinking, listen, as long as I'm got my shit together, then that's fine. Let the press do whatever. They got their job to do to make headlines out of nothing sometimes. In this day and age, you got to be careful because every last goddamn thing will be a massive headline. If a fly lands on a guy's head on the pitch, it'll be headline news around the world. I mean, fuck all. But they'll just make massive headlines. The supporters will just eat that up and think, oh yeah, there's a problem there. Oh God, we gotta overanalyze every goddamn thing to death. Not everything needs to be, so blown out of proportion. Just relax. There's professionals at the club that's doing the job. I mean, listen here. So obviously, you'd want to win every game, okay? And yes, I know we can talk about Kai Havertz and him not being setting the world alight okay, and David Raya and Ramsdale's mommy called in and crying on TV there, I'm not playing the son, and I mean, but well, okay, so Havertz didn't score a hat trick. Okay, well, okay, so now what? Well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna play injured Odegaard, or is that you're gonna get him out of hospital and wheel him out into the field. And what are you going to do? You have to. I mean, listen, just keeping in mind, better players than Havertz have come to clubs. I mean, there you got Mr. P, the Chelsea guy. He knows Didier Drogba came in. People were like, "Who the fuck is this Drogba guy? This guy from football."
Exactly. Yeah.
Half of
Yeah.
the season, he started fucking everyone up. Just relax.
Yeah.
They didn't buy the player because they didn't know what they're doing. These people know football more than us. So you're gonna have to just. The only thing you can do is just trust the manager. And if you really want to make an assessment, you can make it at the end of the season. Then you can tell the guy, no,
Yeah.
no, sorry, pal. We gave you fair enough chance here. You see, and you prove that you crap. And now we're gonna kick your ass out of the stadium now. And you can't just judge a guy after like 17 seconds. You know what I mean? It's not real life. It doesn't just not everything just perfectly falls into shape in the first 10 seconds of the movie or something. I mean, it doesn't work like that.
Correct.
You got to give the guy time. And it's not like, listen here, and it's not like did the guy really? I mean, I know I've seen enough crap performances in my time of Arsenal players. So I know when a player's shit. Okay, but Kai has been shit. He hasn't been shit, but he hasn't been great either. He's just been okay. He's been okay.
It's
Nothing that
it's
I
the
tell him
same.
about.
It's the
But I mean,
same.
but but you don't have to have like 14 billion headlines about Kai Havertz because he was okay. I mean, so what?
It's the evening, Jane. Sorry for being late. Just to
No
echo on
problem,
what
bro.
you're saying, it's the same with Jack Grealish. When Grealish's first season at Man City, after 10, 15 games, people were writing him off. Not understanding that his role at Man City was completely different to what he was doing at Aston Villa. At Aston Villa, he was the big fish in a small pond. He's what he needed to do there was very different. He needed to create goals for Aston Villa. Then on top of it, he must score the goal and he must stop the goals. At Man City, his role was just keep keep the width, hold on to the ball, make sure the ball keeps ticking over, don't lose the ball. Right? His game then developed into when we lose the ball, make sure you give aid support at the left back. Only when City won the league and the Champions League, um, people then said, "Oh, okay, this had a good season." He had a good season from the first game that he played. All it was
Yeah,
is his role changed. What he was required to do changed. But what he was required to do it fitted in perfectly with what Man City needed at the time. And for me, after 2 seasons, City he won another league title, and then it was Grealish is finally coming into his own. He's doing nothing different that he did the first season at Man City. He's doing exactly the same thing. It's maybe just working a bit more, but that doesn't mean that he was a flop in the first season. And I think the transfer fee, we were expecting to see him become the new Kevin De Bruyne. He can't compete with De Bruyne for the role in the middle of the park. He can't
Yeah.
compete with Gundogan at the time because they were the incumbents of the role. He had to wait his turn. So I agreed wholeheartedly with what you say. The people are judging Kai Havertz after 5 games, 10 games. It's just unheard of in football today. The we don't have time. We don't give people time. Managers don't have time. Players don't have time to adapt. Um, it's just the way football goes at the moment.
yeah. I mean, it's also like, I mean, if you think about where he comes from, I mean, he was at Chelsea when Chelsea were like, I mean, that was like, the people. I think everyone just wanted to jump ship there, so I think he got caught up in all that nonsense, and um, and then of course the fee comes with it because now the Oaks are like saying, oh, but we could have spent the money with a striker, and but you can't just have it both. We can't have, let's replace Granit Xhaka, but then also spend the same money on a striker. It can't be both. So the manager's obviously seen, listen here, we're losing one guy in midfield. So, we really got the two strikers up front. So where do I need to, replace? So he's replacing Granit Xhaka. But he's not exactly the same type of Granit Xhaka because then we also got Thomas Partey and Declan Rice that can do some of the job that work that Granit Xhaka did. But then there's stuff that Havertz that he maybe brings to the table that people are just not wanting to see. I mean, he actually works quite hard in the game. He just doesn't have the body language to go with it. But I mean, he's being picked. I mean, like that game, even against Chelsea, I think he came on at the end. I mean, he was adding the physicality in there, like winning balls in the air or defending balls in the air. He laid the ball on for Martinelli to beat
And
City.
is giving you three options. He's the type of player that
So
gives you three
so
options.
on both sides of the box, he's adding something as well. I mean, so there's a lot of unseen stuff that people. I think
Fuck this.
they'll only see it once he scores a goal. You know what I mean? Then their eyes will open. But there's other things that goes with it as well. Davey, can you hear us?
Dave back.
David looks bewildered by
I can hear
your
you guys.
assessment of
I'm just
Havertz.
having the gremlins. So let me just jump out, then I'm gonna come back in again because I want to land on that Havertz part actually. So let me jump out. Yeah, I'm switching devices quickly.
I
Carry on
yeah,
as you were.
I just think that someone like Havertz, he and you touched on something. Why the signing of Havertz? He can play three. He can give you three different options. He can either play as out and out centre midfield. He can play as a 10, or he can play as a striker. He's not necessarily, when you say he's a striker, we've got to forget about the days where in today's football world there's 15 strikers out there in the European market or in the world, right? That you would sign. There isn't. Football has changed where Wenger, Ferguson, those era, every club had four strikers. Every football club had four strikers, right? When they won the league titles. And then when Mourinho came, it changed from four to one striker, and all of a sudden, these days people have one main striker. There's no more backup striker. So you get a player that can kind of like sort of do two to three jobs, because of just financially. That's what people do these days. You need to buy someone that is versatile and can play more than one role for you. People ask why Scott McTominay is still at United. Scott McTominay plays three different
Can you
roles
guys hear me?
for the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Where's Warren? Where did Warren go? Did we lose Warren?
He's also coming back. But but and I also just wanted to add on that. I think especially if you look at a player like Kai Havertz, I speak
Yeah.
under correction, but he's probably played close to 100 games currently in the Premier League overall between Chelsea and Arsenal. So I don't think it's time needed in terms of him adjusting to the demands of the Premier League number one. I think it's more a change in manager. Obviously the styles has been very different in terms of him coming from Chelsea and now coming to an Arteta setup. So I think that is where a lot of people must maybe just take the foot off a little and also understand that it's a big change for the player. Number one, you
Change in personnel as well.
100%. So I mean, he's only 12 games in, 12, 11 or 12 games in now with Arsenal. I still rate him as a player, but I think he obviously needs the time to adjust to the manager's demands. Number one, and like you say, he can add so much more value in different positions across the front three, which is vital to any team to have.
Yeah.
Because then automatically you're getting an extra two players by just signing the one. So
Yeah.
it's I think people, yeah, like Warren also said, sometimes supporters must just calm down a little, let them settle. But at the same time, everything is driven by results. So chairmans, owners, they don't want to listen to you about you having to settle and you're not happy with the country and you're not happy with. They want results, and unfortunately, that is what they're going to be benchmarked against. He's got to create assists. He's got to be scoring goals, and that's what he's been signed for. So all the other nice things that comes with it, it's good to have, but that's going to be his ultimate step at the end of the day.
True. And you think of let's figure out even your team, Newcastle, Almiron.
Yeah,
If there's one club that held faith with a player, Newcastle.
just as I
That
kicked
guy
him out
went
there, I
how
promise you,
many games where
he frustrated me to the
yeah.
end.
But at the end of the day, what people need to realize also is that in his first, when he came to the team, he came to a crippled, struggling team, right? He had to adjust to. It's a part of the country where nobody wants to go to.
Yeah,
It's
especially from
it's the
South
climate
America.
from South America. It's the climate. It's the language barrier. That is not just a language barrier as you're going to London. That is a completely different dialect of speaking, right? He had to
Yeah,
adjust to. Then he had to adjust to the players around him. They weren't always the quality players. Okay, he played in about three or four different roles for Newcastle. Sometimes he had to lead the line on his own, which is not his natural
yeah,
position.
yeah,
Newcastle stuck with him. 3 4 years later, you've got probably one of the most influential. We're not saying dangerous. I'm not saying he is a medicine
Yeah,
or just understand me clearly when I say influential in that when he does well, Newcastle does well, right?
yeah,
When he plays well, he's a contributing factor to their results. When they draw games, he works the hardest out of everybody. So you know, for me, patience. Newcastle
yeah,
play patience. Their whole team, Lascelles,
yeah,
they've stuck by them, and all of a sudden, these so-called pe- players that were close to relegation, look at what's happened. You're talking about a Champions
yeah.
League team now. You're talking about a top four contender, made a League Cup final last year. And all of a sudden now, you look up to these players and you respect them and you respect
Yeah.
them.
And that starts from the top. If your owners are buying into that philosophy, if they prepared, with all the millions of obviously of the Saudi riches that they have, they've also bought into Eddie's philosophy. You can see that. You can see the players are believing in it, the supporters are believing it, the town is believing it. The entire Newcastle believes in the philosophy, and it's going to take time. So it's not to get ahead of themselves, not go out and change my philosophy and go and spend the millions on the top earners in the world to come in and break up your structures, because yes, the talent is required, but nothing will ever obviously supplement the hard work that has been done by those players. And you can see those boys are giving their everything week in, week out, and they spurred on by the support from the fantastic supporters there, as well as the owners, which shows them that they've actually got something to play for. It's going to take a little bit more time. I think in maybe another 2 seasons or so, and you'll definitely see the best of Newcastle coming through.
Yes,
Can you
and
guys hear me?
yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah,
I'm kidding
You
you.
you know,
Oh, sorry,
and
I got kicked off there for a second.
no, no, we can hear you, Warren. Look at with Newcastle, it's not that the money changed the results on the field because those guys' salaries didn't
yeah,
exactly triple just because of the new owners and the money. It was the fact that they had a
yeah,
board that placed no onus on trophies whatsoever. No onus on
yeah,
trophies. What they placed the onus on was making sure things off the field was secured and taken care of. The manager bought into this is what the club is expecting from me, but the word trophies never on the table,
yeah,
and that was the pressure that when, if you look at Arteta, trophies, pressure.
mm,
Um, you look at my own club at Spurs, Postecoglou, everything is about trophies. The pressure that guys walked under is, are you going to bring a trophy? Mourinho, Conte, well, with their pedigree, nothing was talking about how you're going to improve this team. It was, are you going to be the first one to bring a trophy since 2008? And that is, uh, Arteta came in
yeah,
and I speak under correction, Warren. You can correct me, but there was maybe indirectly it was also, so are you going to deliver the league title? How long are you going to take to deliver the league title? And it was just the pressure that these people come into.
mm,
Nothing about, are you going to improve the team? And for Eddie, it was, are you going to improve it? What do you need to improve the team? And I think it was just a match made in heaven between owners, club, the
yeah,
direction that they want to go. There's no pressure on you to deliver a trophy. It will come, but we're also not going to
yeah.
buy you a squad because then we might as well buy a better manager than you. So buy into what we want. This is what we want. This is what we want
Of
you to
course,
deliver. And that is why Newcastle makes him a dangerous outfit.
Right.
Extremely dangerous.
Yeah, I think that probably like with the whole
I can tell you
FFP,
there's a healthy bonus
I think
structure in place.
you're probably gonna. I
Yeah.
think why they went with EDSO is because they probably because if you bring in a big name manager, then the big name manager is gonna want big name money, and if that doesn't blend well
Yeah,
with like FFP stuff, so they probably thought let's get someone that understands the Premier League. That's one, and then two, someone that can manage on a smaller budget. And then three, a manager that can improve players, like with Almiron, for example. So it's no surprise that he's made Almiron a better player. And I think then from there they can then build and go up on that. But listen here, we talking about FFP for now, yeah. Just wait until FFP isn't a problem for Newcastle. They mean big cock. Then the
Yeah.
And
weather,
the owners are demanding trophies. They're buying
be
trophies, man.
speaking. They can be speaking fucking Martian in Newcastle. The players will come. Don't worry about that. Language and diet and weather's not going to be a problem.
Yeah,
The players
exactly.
will just come for
Exactly.
the money. So those are things that will. And the other thing that people don't realize, even that idiot that went that trip here, you know, so you go from Premier League and no European football to Premier League and Champions League football. So you skip 3 steps in one transfer window. You can't do that. So
No,
Newcastle's way
you
ahead
must
of the
add to the closest ladder.
progress. So that's the type of guy that must just be. You must stay away from him because he's gonna make you look like stupid. So it's similar with Arsenal as well. We were like last season when we lost the title. We were never supposed to be in the league title last season. Liverpool should have challenged Man City last season. We were just there because we did a few things liquor and we were ahead of our natural progression. But okay, you don't complain if things are going well. You just go with it. So I wasn't really cut. Oh God, we threw it away and Arteta. Let's get rid of Arteta. The guy actually, we should have just been happy with fourth, with like top four last season. The fact that we still challenge for titles, that's his bonus points. And it's the same thing with Newcastle now. I mean, they shouldn't, if you could just go with the natural steps, they should be playing like, they should be playing fucking, some team from like Switzerland on a Thursday night in Europa Conference Leagues or something.
Yeah.
If you just look at the natural steps that you normally take, you know what I mean? It's a massive step. People don't understand that. You go from playing Premier League games on a Saturday, nothing in the week, to Premier League games on a Saturday, and then you're playing PSG the Wednesday. you just took like 3-4 massive steps forward, and you needed like probably another 2 transfer windows to close that gap. That is the thing that people are not always. I don't think I've heard anyone actually talk about that. That Eddie Housel had to mitigate against all of that, and lo and behold, they lost the football game somewhere in the middle. It's like it's like the hell with all the other good stuff they've done. They'll just focus on like like the one loss that they had. But I mean, I think it was an accumulation of players running out of leagues and just the injury list is piling up. Mind you, Bournemouth is not a bad team at home either.
Say no more. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can
Loud and
hear you.
clear.
Can you hear me loud and clear? Where do we end up on the Arsenal segment? Because I see you guys are talking about Newcastle. Where do we end up? Welcome, Bramwell. Welcome, my brother, to the show. How are you? Are you well?
I'm good. I'm okay. I'm okay. Sorry that I'm late, guys.
Warren,
But
just to touch off, I know you mentioned Havertz. All I want to say is I'm not having it. I think he's kala. Havertz is shit. That guy here, bottom left to my side, I don't care about time. The guy's played 3 seasons in the Premier League. He's played 3 seasons. He's shit. He's the one that's fucking up everything for us. Straight and simple, that's my opinion. He is shit. He is hiding. I don't know why we paid 67 million for that German giraffe. Secondly, David Raya is a Spanish goofy. I don't know why he even got signed because he'd made a couple of errors. But just to end off, Warren, if I could ask you a question, you touched on our youngsters and that type of thing. If you could choose one player to stay at Arsenal for 10 years, which one would you pick?
Well, okay. I mean, I think we spoke about this already, and it's maybe an unpopular sort of vote because normally people go for the attacking players, etc. But
Saliba.
I gave my vote last season without blinking an eye. Our most valuable player last season by a fucking country mile was William Saliba. The
There
second the
you
guy got
go.
injured,
I said the exact same thing.
the deck of cards came tumbling down. While every other gooner logically and it makes sense, I gotta go for Saka and Jesus and Martinelli and Odegaard. Well, take a wild guess. We managed to survive when we had Saka out, Martinelli out, Odegaard out, Jesus, every other single player except one player. There's one player we couldn't survive. Take a wild guess who that person is. Who is it? You know. I
Saliba.
just seen his name.
Saliba.
There you go. So
Saliba. I'm the same.
signs.
I agree with you. I'm the same. I'm the exact same.
He's the one player we listen here. We beat Man City without
Saka.
Saka, right? So there goes that argument. You take Saliba out now, we in major cuck. Because who are you gonna play
Exactly.
there? Who are you gonna play there? The only other player I would have seen, and this is why we wanted the Timber guy there because he's fucking. Oh my god, he's fucking awesome.
Mm.
He would be the closest thing I would have in that
Mm.
battle, but he's only going to be back like in what March or something. I mean,
Exactly.
my vote goes to William Saliba. I'm not even debating that.
Nah, say no more. I couldn't agree with you more. Guys, I know we're jumping onto an hour. Bram, just jump on. Do any of you guys Spurs quickly for 10 minutes before we do our predictions, our man of the week, and our final thoughts? Let's hear what Bram has to say about Ange Ball.
Look, I'm gonna for Sean and Warren. I don't know if they've watched the pod in the past. I said that I had my reservations before the season started on this guy. Um, Purely because Gerrard won the league in Scotland, Rogers won the league in Scotland. It's not a hard place to win a football league if you're managing Rangers or Celtic. Then he was winning games. We beat Liverpool, we beat United, we drew with Arsenal, and I always said that's our strongest 11. The backups on the bench. I if Ben Davies and Eric Dyer is your centre back pairing, your club is in trouble. And I've said this for how many years now, Davy, on the pod. And Saturday just proved it that there is no room for those two players at any football club in the Premier League that wants to finish in the top 10. Those two cannot play. Same as Hoiberg and Skip cannot play in your team. And unfortunately, that is our bench. So for Spurs, it is bleak at the moment. It might be better, but we're talking about 3 games down the line when Udogie and Romero return from their suspensions. But you know what? 3 games down the line that's 9 points lost.
Mm.
That's 9 points lost because I I say that Spurs can play without Madison. We can't play without Basuma.
Mm.
We
And now
can't.
you're without the Suma, no, Governor. You're
Now you're
without
without
Basuma now.
Basuma, you're without Romero, and you're without Madison. Ollie Watkins is licking his lips for Sunday for that game after the international break. We got Aston Villa at home. He's gonna come up against Dyer and Davies. All right, it's tough. It's going to be very very tough. By the time those two come back from their suspension, Spurs could probably be in 7th, 8th place after a good start. Um, do the opposite. If you look at Newcastle, we spoke about their board and their manager. I don't think we have a chairman that has got any interest in this club winning a trophy. None whatsoever. His only interest is that he proved his theory right. I can get a manager without spending money. Pochettino spoiled him. We got to a Champions League final, and he said, "I got." In his mind, he got close without spending money. So he found a guy that is cheap and doesn't cost half of what the previous two cost. And if you look at the players that he never signed Udogie, he never signed Basuma. He spent Kane's money on concluding the deals for Porro and Kulusevski. Those were loanies that he paid. So Levy will tell you he spent 100 million. He didn't. He didn't buy anybody. That's loan players that he finalized the deals for. So he's got when Bevan said earlier Spurs don't know anything about trophies. It's not a joke. It's a fact. He's got no interest in that club other than making money, profits of players. He signed Phillips from Blackburn at 19 years old. You know what he's hoping for? This kid turns out to be a star by the time he's 21, 22. Somebody's going to want to buy him. That's what he's hoping for. We done the same with Bale. If you look at everything that he signs, is cheap. Kulusevski is so young. If Kulusevski has another good season, somebody's going to want to sign him. And guess what? Spurs only paid 25 million to sign Kulusevski. Do you guys know that he only paid 25 million to sign him outright? He paid 23 million to sign Romero. That's what he spends on players. He doesn't spend a lot of money. He doesn't. And he won't. And you've got a coach like Postecoglou now. You've got the progress Spurs had made. What does it tell him in January? Go and sign three players. You get two youngsters and one experienced player that knows how to win trophies. That's going to come and guide that players from the bench. He doesn't have to be a starter, all right? But he's someone you can turn to bring on. If Jordan Henderson was available now and wanted to return to England, he's the first name I would go and find. I would go and break the bank because you know why? He can do twice the role that Hoiberg does. He's got added experience, and he'll bring something into the squad that there's nobody that they can turn around and look to win trophies. There's nobody they can look to that's gotten over the line in winning a trophy. So how are they going to win trophies? How are they going to if we are 3 points ahead with 3 games to go of this Premier League title, and Spurs have to play Luton, Sheffield United, and Bournemouth, they'll still lose the league title. They will lose it.
What? So, yeah, really? Yo.
They will lose it.
But Arsenal, bro, yo.
Okay, if tell me something. 1-0 ahead Saturday at Wolves, right? 5 minutes left.
How many injuries have you got, Governor? How many injuries? Look, you lost fine. Think about it.
Don't count the 5 that are not starters. I'm not going with the injury list that we have. We've got 8 players, 5 are bench sitters. Solomon would be on the bench. Perisic is on the bench. Half of those players. So that is not a sad story. Our injuries. Do you understand? Those are. If you said Madison is injured, Vicario was injured, Son's injured, maybe I'll say, you know what, forgive the team. But you're talking about the bench players that are injured. So where's the depth in our squad? Why is Levy not invested in the depth in our squad? What are you expecting this coach to do? 1-0 up. Who must he bring on from the bench that's going to see us over the line on Saturday? Who was he supposed to bring on? Who? There's nobody. You got Arsenal's bench. You look at Arsenal's bench. There's a couple of players that he can bring on that has seen this and done this before. You know? So for me, leave it out. I'll say it again. He's gotta go, man. He's gotta go.
Nah,
He's
you can't
gotta
say
go.
that though.
He's gotta
Nah,
go.
Bram, you can't say he's got to
Nah,
go.
you
Come
can't
on,
say,
it's too
yeah,
soon.
no, you
Nah,
can't
he's
say
That's
gotta
that.
too
go.
soon. Nah, Bram,
He
even
did
by
get the
my
players.
standards, nah.
Yeah, no, he did get the players over the summer. A few of the players though. Like it's not like he didn't do anything.
Who did he bring in that was going to, besides James Madison, that wanted to come to Spurs? That was a very easy job for him to do because the only place I'm going to go, he's not going to go to Arsenal. He's going to have to compete for the place in the starting 11. There was no competition at Spurs because we had no creative player. Who did he sign that he actually had to work for to get to Spurs? Who? There's nobody.
Yeah.
I also
Nobody.
can't think of somebody, really. It's actually
Not
a
a
good
player.
question. Sean, do you have the answer to that, my man?
There's not a player that Daniel
Not
Levy
at
had to
all.
fight for in a bid for. How did Van der Ven end up at Spurs? Liverpool pulled out of the race.
Eish.
Liverpool pulled
Anyway,
out of the
oh,
race.
I can see this guy. You see what? We thought we had problems. I thought I was a bit overreactionary.
No, let's be honest. Let's be honest.
It
This is how
sounds
the
like you've
thing
all
is.
got problems. Don't you love your teams, guys?
Yeah,
Come on.
you're right. Now
Guys,
look, fair enough, man.
I'll support my team. I'll say the last time I was bold about Spurs, Pochettino at the head. I would take anybody on and say, you know for the fact we're going to beat you.
Mm.
This current Spurs team and all the 3 coaches we've had so far, I'm not gonna go out and say, you know what, I back my team. We're gonna win. We're gonna beat you. Nah. Under
Say no more.
Pochettino, Spurs were bold. They were out there. They were feared in the Premier League, and you knew come Saturday the opposition would have to play well to beat us.
No, I
You
agree with
need to
you.
be very well.
True.
Today,
And you know what, Nagav, that's the thing is, I think that's what's happening now at Chelsea, and like you have to play very, very well to actually beat them. If you can see it already, do you know what I mean?
why do you think I wanted him back at Spurs? Why do you think I wanted him back?
Say no more.
It took the Chelsea players 2 months. 2 months to buy into what he wants to do. 2 months.
Yeah.
And look now.
Mm.
I'm still
Say
saying,
no
you, Master P, you needed us to go down to 9 men to beat us. 9 men. So I'm coming for you with 11v11. Remember that. I'm telling you. We owe you. We
We
owe
will be
you.
there. We
Dude,
will be there.
I've got like 9
Why
players
are you
out
here?
injured,
Why are
bro.
you here? You 12 players.
I've
Why are you here
I've
tonight?
I've
Why?
I've got like no, we're at 12th place. We're not in 12th place, bro. I've got like 9 players out, Bram. So I think you revise that
You've got
statement.
There we
41
go.
others on the
There we
bench.
go
You've
again.
got 41 others on the bench.
Look, I mean,
Anyway.
Was that Bram?
I'm at a Spurs, whatever, but I mean, in fairness, I mean, the way I see it, I thought his signings are pretty good. I mean, from what I've seen so far,
No.
Angie, yeah, I think the
That's what
players,
I
But
thought,
it's
but
good
it,
enough
good.
for what?
And then I think
that's
the second comment that I'd have is, I think, I mean, it's quite these games are quite exciting and the football's entertaining, but I think there's times
yeah.
where you got to be pragmatic because I was watching that Wolves game and Spurs were leading for like 95% of the game, and the game
Exactly.
the supporters were
87%.
leaving. The supporters were leaving the stadium, the Wolves fans, and it all went quiet. And Spurs saw it out. But then it's like 90 minutes, and the board goes up at 6 minutes, and it's now
And then the
normally
clown kicks the ball out.
pragmatic manager, you just kill the game off and get the 3 points. But the game actually came alive. It went end to end, and I'm thinking, what is this manager doing? Surely you must instruct the players now to everyone behind the ball, all right?
Lock up
Just
here.
not concede,
Lock up
and
shop.
then you can always you still got Son and Kulusevski up front to hit him on the counter if it comes to that. But just get the 3 points. But the game actually came alive. Ironically, it's the other way around, and it's the same thing against Chelsea on the Monday night. Even with 9, I mean, all 8 players were standing on the halfway line.
Exactly. Playing a
But
freaking high line for what, man?
I'm gonna
It's
defend
like
him there.
it's
I'm gonna
like
defend him.
it's like what's the TV game, the FIFA, like when
I'm
you're
gonna, I'm
playing
gonna, de- I'll,
all,
I'll, I'll defend him there.
and you got all like you're not playing any defenders. You picked all 12, like all 9 strikers, and they're all in the half. I'm like, what the hell is this? This is you
I'm gonna
can't.
defend him there. I'm
Yeah,
gonna defend him on that.
that's TV game football. A proper manager will say, sorry, you know what? Because here's the other thing. Although Chelsea scored 4 that night, Chelsea were crap. Chelsea were crap
But
that night.
I'll defend Ange on that.
Team would have beaten Spurs 9-0 that night.
I'll defend him on that.
Fucking no.
The
Definitely.
reason why he done that, remember he's
Totally in it.
the type of
That
football
was
that
like,
he's playing. He's preached the type of
well,
coach that he is. If he
yeah,
had
well,
gone against,
Nah, but come on, Bram. Nah, man. Look how Liverpool played
uh,
against you with 9 men, Bram, man. Come on.
yeah, but Liverpool, David, you got to remember, Liverpool have been under that coach for 5 years.
you got to sign the game
They
first
played-
of all. I mean, that's the
played
first.
those
Yeah,
type
but
of football.
why are you making like Ange hasn't been in a coaching job for how long? Ange has been in a coaching job for a while.
Wait,
Surely.
hang on.
Okay.
Let me finish. Right?
Okay, finish. Land
He's come
first.
out
Then I want to come
and-
into man of the
and
week.
he's got to prep these players. This is my philosophy. Come what may, we play this type of football. You could ask Pep the same thing. Why do you keep getting beaten by Spurs playing the same type of football and they beat you the same way? No, you're not going to ask him that because he's got all the trophies to say, but I still win the league at the end of the season. So the same thing with Ange. He's not going to change his philosophy and style. And his players understand that, right? So imagine how confusing it would have been for them if he changed that just because of the match situation, right? So they need to be. There's so much work that needs to be done in the development of this team that people say, "Why did you play that way?" It's a joke. If we had come away, if Dyer's goal stands and we draw 2-2, we'd be saying a different story today. We'd be saying,
Yeah, agreed.
that is the way that's the way our team should play. We got beat 4-1, and it's easy to say now, but maybe we played differently. We can nitpick at everything he did. Why the high line with 9 men? Had we not lost the game, what would it have done to that team's belief? What would it have done?
Exactly.
And that's what he's battling to, is mentally turn around the mentality of that football team alone. And rightly or wrongly, time will tell on what he tried to do there. But again, time will tell with this coach for me.
Yeah, let's see. Let's wrap it up. Sean, you're very quiet there, my man. Don't worry, we'll be done soon. Welcome to DVD. That never goes. We plan to go for an hour, but it always goes to an hour and a half. Sean, your man of the week, my brother. Sean's still here with us. Did he freeze?
Yeah,
Can you hear me, Dave?
yeah, we can. Yeah, we can hear you.
I said man of the week, Sean. Sean with
Sorry,
us.
Dave, what was the question?
Okay, let's let him land.
Yeah, I can hear you. I think for me, man of the week,
Yeah,
and I'm actually a little bit frightened to. Can you hear me,
yeah.
guys?
Land.
Go
Go
for it.
in.
Go for it.
I'm a little
Go
bit
for it,
frightened
brother.
to
Go for it.
invite
Go
him
for
to
it.
our home ground next week. I think for me, it's got to be Cole. I think it's got to be Cole Palmer. I think for me, the youngsters is starting to really show the true potential. For me, I think at age of 21, he's showing a lot of maturity already for the Chelsea team. But it also shows obviously the confidence that the manager has in him. Because his last 3 weeks, he's really been outstanding for me. And I think my man of the week is going to go to Cole Palmer. Scoring an equalizer, at the death against Man City is not an easy feat for a youngster, especially. I think that already in its own right shows a lot of maturity for the young man.
Dave, are you there?
I'm here, brother. I thought I was losing it really, honestly. Who was his man of the week? Did you Pascal
Cole
seeing it
Palmer.
that you said
Cole
yeah?
Palmer.
Cole Palmer. Okay, fair enough. Warren, your man of the week?
I'm going to give it to the manager of Wolves.
Ah, I like that one. I like that one,
Um,
eh? I like
you
that
saw
one.
you saw that the opposition manager was playing with his toys and playing TV game football, and he saw an opportunity. Um, I don't know if there was footage of him giving directions to that Sarabia guy that came on and scored the equalizer. He told the guy specifically, "You fucking stand on the shoulder of the right-sided centre back of these, because these clowns are still playing as if it's the second minute of the game. A normal, logical manager would do this, double up, close the shop. Let's make
Mm-hmm.
this play and take a while. Guess what happened? He made the excuse that the players ran out of legs. I just think he left the door way too open. I think when your philosophy goes out of the window with fucking 5 minutes left, you win the game. The best managers that's ever lived have proven that, not me. And I'm gonna give it to him because he saw it. He saw it. He called it, and he done it. 2 goals in
Yeah,
five
nah.
minutes.
I like it, love it, and especially through what he went through with Bournemouth when they sacked him. I felt it was hard done, but because personally for me, Bournemouth can't go any higher than 15. So brilliant call, Master P. Your man of the week, brother.
Um, so I kind of agree with Sean on this. Out of giving it to Cole Palmer, but I mean, for Cole Palmer to do what he does, there has to be somebody up there that believes in him, and so I'm gonna have to give it to Pochettino. I think the team is big. You can like see a different mentality from just a couple of other players, and just the way that the team is so much more. I know they're conceding goals and everything, but I think they're much more organized. Like you can see it, man. You can see it different.
Mm.
That there's a certain philosophy that's beginning to brew there at the bridge. You know what I mean? So I'd have to give it to Pochettino. I think he's had a good week. Um, and yeah,
Say no more, Governor.
That was going to be mine is Kieran Trippier. Facing up to the fan. You got many a player would have backed up, taken, just headed for the tunnel, ran away, but he didn't. As captain of the team, fronted up to his fans, and for me that is bold in football today. For doing what he did, he ignored the social media backlash. He ignored everything else that would have come from that, and he took it upon himself, on behalf of his team, to front up to the fans there and then. Not have a scripted media answer on what to say and to answer the fans. He
Mm.
spoke from the heart, spoke from the cuff, and he asked, "Man, what
Fair.
do you expect us to do?" And for
Mm.
me, that's what we need in the game today. We need those kind of characters to come back, in football
Mm.
today.
Say no more.
Brilliant.
Minus Raheem Sterling. I think that's one of his best games I've ever seen him play. And wow, how Gareth Southgate doesn't include him in the team, I'll never know. Kyle Walker is one of the best right backs for our generation, and he had him on toast. So that's my man of the week. Flop of the week, Sean. Talk to me, my brother.
Has to be our result against Bournemouth, brother. Say no more. Finish. Guys, am I stuck?
Now,
Now
can
we
you
can
hear?
hear you. I can hear you perfect.
My signal is
Dave,
lagging. Yeah, I'm hearing my feedback. Yeah.
David,
I can
do
hear
you
you.
hear what he said?
Yeah, it's
I can't hear, but go ahead. You guys can hear him, then it's calm. It's my Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is doing bad madness. So go ahead, land. Go ahead, land. It's fine. Go ahead.
No, he said his result over the weekend, I think.
He
Oh,
said his
loss.
result, Debbie.
Oh, is that his flop? Oh my word.
Yeah.
Okay, say no more. What on your flop of the week?
I've got two. I've got two. I was gonna have one, but I just thought of it now. I've got two. The first one is the Spurs manager for playing Xbox TV game football.
That's my flop of the week as well. That
Yeah.
counts me out.
Yeah, and then I actually just thought about this. The other one is all Manchester United fans.
Yeah.
I like that one. I'm gonna clip that section. Actually, I'm clipping that section.
Just for being the most fucking vile bunch of wankers in the planet.
Couldn't have said it any better, my brother. Could not have said it any better. Is Pascal still here with us?
I think he dropped.
Okay,
Oh
let's
yeah,
go.
he's coming back. He's coming back. Yeah.
Is he coming back? Bram, you Lance along. Your flop of the week, my brother. While I bring Pascal back.
Flop of the week for me, Eric Dyer. I heard all the things about playing low block, getting everybody behind the ball. Simple thing. Kicks the ball out of touch. They get a throw in.
They
he
score.
plays after the ball and they score. So you can
Yeah,
put
he's
all these, and I hear
stuck,
what
man.
Warren says, and all you can put all these things in place. You can play with 10 behind the ball, but like again, I say, if you don't have the personnel to play with 10 behind the ball, let alone playing an attacking brand of football, it's you. And I'm not the biggest fan of Ange. Yes, it's exciting what he's doing, but you got to give the man. For me, I'll give him some slack on this. It's just that no matter what he was gonna do, like I said, if you have the personnel to do that, put 10 players behind the ball, great. They were always going to score with those two playing. You understand? You always have a chance with those two, and Hoiberg in front of them. So for me, Dyer, can you not just kick a ball straight out? If you kick it out, kick it right down the field. He kicks it out in our own half. He was kicking it to, there was nobody he was kicking it to in the first place. So how many more years do I have to put up with this guy in my team? How many more? Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I shouldn't
I'm not
laugh.
gonna
It's very
blame Ange. I'm not
unprofessional
gonna
of me.
blame
I
Ange.
shouldn't
I'm not
laugh,
gonna
but
blame
yo.
Ange for. Yeah, and he came on Monday night as well, and guess what the final score was? 4-1. He came on at 1-1.
I know how you
He
feel
came on
about
at
him,
1-1.
brother.
So
Yeah,
there's a reason Pochettino told him, "You'll never play centre back in my team ever, ever," and he didn't. And Jose Mourinho spoke into this guy's head that you are a centre back. Why? I don't know. Flop of the week, Eric Dyer.
Say no more. Final thoughts, Sean. Love for coming on. Thank you for dealing with all the gremlins, my brother. We're definitely gonna do a preview show. I'll chat to Warren about maybe us doing a live show sometime, like all of us in one room, maybe even a pre-recording or something. Yeah, I got the thumbs up ready, but appreciate you coming on, my brother. Any final thoughts for the evening, Sean?
Yeah, David, no, thanks. It's always been a pleasure, like I say, to get the Newcastle gospel out there. It's not very often that you get to have the platform like this. But I know in time it's going to be a lot bigger because it's going to be a lot more coming out of the closets, and those that are looking for trophies in the end, that's going to come and start supporting the club. But I think it's a very important 2 weeks for the club coming up. It's two very important Champions League games. But I think it's just the realization that we've managed to number one qualify for the Champions League this season in our second year under new owners is an acknowledgement and achievement. Whether we get out of the group stage, it really doesn't matter. It's the fact that we're playing up there with the elite, as I said, in Europe, which is the building blocks for greater things to come for the club. And I'm so delighted. I'm so proud to be a supporter of the club because that shows the passion and the determination because it was hell, and that how things were under Mike Ashley when Ashley was only considered in feeding himself with donuts and not even giving a shit about the team. So to come
Agreed.
here where we've come, nobody gave us a chance, to be honest, in this group of death. But that group is still very much wide open. It can still go down to all four teams qualifying for those two spots into the knockout stages. So it's a massive 2 weeks coming up. And all we want is a team that just really tries. We don't want to say we're going to win the Champions League, we're going to win the Premier League. We just want to see this team trying. And hats off to the boys. They've shown that they've given their full support, their full commitment, week in and week out, with all the challenges. As I said earlier, with regards to injuries, those injuries that we're currently facing is our starting 11. It's not guys that's going to be bench players or coming off the bench. Those 9 are really starters. So to lose players like that, it's a bit scary, can I say? Wanting to invite Chelsea next week, but I think the Fortress and James's Park kind of levels the playing fields. We come up against a Chelsea team that is finally starting to find their struts, starting to understand Poch. It's a scary option now to actually be facing them. They're coming up against a Newcastle team, which is a little bit low in morale because of obviously injuries and results. The Dortmund loss coupled by the Bournemouth result, which nobody obviously thought should have happened. But it's going to be, I think that is the level playing field. And St. James's Park, I think that's going to be the deciding factor. And whether we can get Bruno Guimaraes onto the field is also another big factor. If he plays, it's a totally different Newcastle team. The stat shows we haven't won a game where he was not part of. If he's out, we don't click. So come the weekend, I'd like to see him, or next weekend, I hope he's fit and ready to go and then give Chelsea a run for their money.
Say no more. Couldn't have summed it up any better. Governor, your final thoughts.
Now, for me, final thoughts is look at the points gap is so tight from 1 down to 6. This next 3 rounds of fixtures, I think is going to then sort of add structure to inform where we're going to go in terms of who's going to be challenging for the league, who's going to be challenging for top 4, etc. And I think it's a tough, challenging period for I think all teams are suffering with injuries at the moment.
100%.
All
100%.
teams are suffering, but I just hope that the officials in England, the referees, take this international break to really assess themselves because their influence on the game so far, it's been completely and utterly just. It's taking the fun out of football, to be honest with you. We spend more talking points on VAR than what we do about football these days. Arsenal Newcastle was a terrific game of football. We only remember one thing is the VAR thing. Liverpool Spurs.
Exactly.
I think Liverpool Spurs. That first 45 minutes before the red cards, I think we actually killed Liverpool with football. Just football wise, Spurs killed them. No one's going to remember that. You can remember that Spurs won at the VAR. All we speak about is these games of good football is marred by VAR decisions. And for me, I just hope that when we come back from the international break, is that football starts taking its place. That we speak about football and we can actually really bant each other about football results fairly on the game and not, I think even today, fans, we don't really want to bant each other because we're not sure how true was our victory against each other, without it being silly decisions that went my way or that didn't go my way. yeah, for me that is it's sad that that's where we are in football today. That we can't even band each other
That
with
Pascal smile, man.
just behind each other. Stop smiling. You only beat me because I played with
That's
9 men.
Pascal, yeah.
Stop smiling. You could have spent that money in Africa and feed homeless kids. You spent R1 billion on second-rate footballers.
This guy.
You don't even have
But
a
now I agree.
sponsor. You don't even have a
Anyway,
sponsor.
but nah, I love it.
I hate
Say no
Chelsea.
more.
I hate you.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Look, I think it's only gonna get worse. So strap your seatbelt on because it's gonna be a bumpy road. What my brother? Your final thoughts in a wrap. Talk to me, my guy.
Yeah, that's just a very quick and easy one. When Havertz wins us the Champions League, I'm gonna buy you a sweater with his name on it.
Yo, if you do that, you know what? If we win the Champions League, I will personally buy myself a Havertz jersey. Hell, I'll even get 29 tattooed on my back, Havertz, on my shoulder. Dude.
Warren is one of the guys that has big as silent wishes.
You know what? Every time Havertz is gonna score in Warren Field in the pub, is gonna say, "You see, I told you, there's one." But love for jumping on Warren. I really appreciate it, my guy.
I'm gonna come for you, Oaks. I'm telling you now.
Don't worry, we'll be there. Don't you worry.
Derby day at our place. We'll meet up before that. Derby day at our place.
No, definitely, we'll meet up way before that. Master P, your final thoughts just before I wrap it up, before I close this off.
Well, let me just say something. Warren, that's not wishful thinking. That guy has done it before, by the way. So he might
Oh,
as, he
good
might as
God!
well
Here
just.
we go.
Oh, that's something
You've
that
done it
guy,
before. So I
man.
know from experience. I got two of them
Exactly,
because of that
exactly,
guy. So yeah.
exactly.
How Bram is able to complain about injuries when I've got 10 players out? I don't even
I
know
never
what that
complained
just
about
gives
injuries.
to be
I
honest.
never complained about
But
injuries.
but anyway, but my final thoughts is this. Davey, my flop, because I logged out. I was kicked out of the system when you're doing the flop of the. My flop of the week is VAR. By the way, I just think it's confusing everybody, delaying the whole thing, and it's taking away from the excitement. Like every time somebody scores a goal or something happens, everybody just kind
Or
of
someone
pauses,
gets a red card
Agreed.
and then
that influences the
and then
game.
and then is wondering like everybody's just looking around waiting to hear whether this thing is gonna stand or not. So it has to be VAR. But I'm happy to be back after such a long time. And yeah, look, at the end of the day, I'm excited to see the progress. Baby steps, you know how it is. But at the end of the day, I think it's exciting times ahead. And let's just hope that by the time we link up with Sean and then we put on a good performance at St. James's Park and get something out of it.
I couldn't have said it any better. We're definitely gonna do that preview show if you and Sean are available that weekend when the Prem comes back in 2 weeks' time. So you guys can let me know. But gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for jumping on and being with me through all this load shedding and all these gremlins. And love to everybody in the comments. Khalid, Bevan of all people jumping on. Warren, Prem, Pascal. We are out here. Have a blessed evening and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bless.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys.